Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. The one who follows the crowd will never go further than the crowd. The one who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever been. Sigma males don't just walk a different path, they create their own. They don't fit into the typical social mold, not because they can't, but because they choose not to. They see things differently, think deeply, and act in ways that often confuse others. And the funny part, they're perfectly fine with that. But here's the thing, being different comes with a price. People might misunderstand you. They might label your habits as weird or antisocial. They don't realize that what they see as odd is actually your edge. The way you move, think, and handle life isn't random. It's strategic. The truth is, Sigma males operate on a different frequency. They have habits that set them apart, ways of thinking that give them an unfair advantage in a world full of distractions and fake personas. And whether you've realized it or not, those habits aren't just quirks. They're signs that you're wired for something greater. So if you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in, like you see things others don't, or move through life in ways most people can't understand, this video is for you. Stay locked in, because you're about to see why your weird habits might just be your greatest strengths. Let's get started, brothers. Number 1. They keep an internal scoreboard of who's reliable and who's not. Sigma males don't waste time with empty words or fake loyalty. Instead, they silently observe, calculate, and remember. They don't need to confront people, expose lies, or call out betrayal, because they already know exactly who they can trust and who they never will. And once someone lands in the unreliable category, there's no coming back. They don't judge people based on emotions, appearances, or reputation. Instead, they watch patterns. Does someone follow through on what they say? Do they stay consistent, or do they change depending on who's watching? Do they twist the truth when it benefits them? A Sigma doesn't need to ask these questions out loud. He already knows the answers just by paying attention. But here's what makes Sigmas different. They don't always react. They won't call you out, warn others, or create drama. They'll simply adjust how they deal with you. If you've proven yourself reliable, you'll notice a Sigma opens up a little more, gives you more time, and actually values your presence. But if you've shown even the slightest signs of dishonesty or inconsistency, the shift is so subtle you might not even notice. He'll still be polite, still acknowledge you, but something will feel off. Less warmth, less engagement, less trust. And if someone really crosses the line, the Sigma vanishes. No explanation, no argument, no second chances. Not out of anger, but out of principle. This quiet scoreboard in his mind isn't about being cold, it's about self-preservation. Sigma males understand that keeping the wrong people around is a slow poison. That's why they don't need confrontations, ultimatums, or dramatic exits. They just adjust, reposition, and move forward. And by the time you realize you're no longer in their circle, it's already too late. Number 2. They test people by giving them small doses of truth. Sigma males don't just hand out their trust like free samples. They know that most people wear masks, saying what's convenient, hiding their true motives, and twisting reality to suit their needs. That's why Sigmas have a unique way of filtering out the fake from the real. They test people with small doses of truth. It's never obvious. A Sigma won't sit you down and say, "I'm testing you." No, they slip a little truth into the conversation, something slightly uncomfortable, something that challenges the way you think. Maybe it's a blunt opinion, a raw personal insight, or a hard fact that most people avoid. Then they wait. Your reaction tells them everything. If you get defensive, dodge the truth, or try to manipulate it to fit your own agenda, the Sigma takes note. It doesn't matter what you say next. You've already failed the test. They now know exactly how much of themselves to reveal to you, which is probably very little. But if you take the truth without flinching, if you consider it, respond honestly, or even challenge it with your own perspective, that's when a Sigma starts to respect you. They aren't looking for people who agree with them. They're looking for people who can handle reality without breaking. This habit isn't about playing games. It's about self-preservation. Sigma males don't have the patience for people who twist the truth, overreact, or make everything about their ego. By testing people in small ways, Sigmas protect their energy, their thoughts, and their time. And the best part, most people never even realize they've been tested. They just wake up one day and notice the sigma isn't sharing as much, isn't opening up, isn't as present anymore. What happened? Simple. They failed. And once a sigma makes that decision, there are no second chances.
Number 3. They have exit strategies for every situation. Sigma males never walk into anything blindly, whether it's a room, a conversation, or a relationship. While most people enter situations hoping for the best, Sigmas are already calculating the worst-case scenario and how to get out of it before it even happens. It's not paranoia, it's precision. They don't like feeling trapped, obligated, or stuck in places that drain their energy. So the moment they step into a new environment, their mind is already mapping the exits. In a crowded event, they instinctively clock the least noticeable way to slip out. In a business meeting, they know exactly how to wrap up the conversation and make a clean break. In a relationship, they don't invest so deeply that they become emotionally handcuffed. They always maintain the ability to walk away if things turn toxic. This isn't about avoiding responsibility, it's about control. Sigma males refuse to be caught in situations where they have no say. They don't argue to prove a point. They'd rather disappear and let the silence speak for itself. They don't beg to be understood. They exit and move forward. And here's the real power of this habit. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Sigma males aren't dramatic about their exits. They don't slam doors, burn bridges, or create a scene. They detach quietly, efficiently, and with no loose ends. One day they're present, the next they're gone, and by the time anyone notices, they've already moved on. This is why Sigmas rarely get trapped in toxic friendships, manipulative work environments, or draining commitments. While others stay stuck, making excuses or hoping things improve, a Sigma has already made peace with leaving before the damage even begins, and that's what makes them different. They don't just live life. They navigate it like a grandmaster playing chess, always a step ahead, always prepared to leave on their own terms.
Number 4. They mistrust compliments but take criticism like fuel. Tell a Sigma male he's brilliant, and he'll probably shrug. Tell him he's talented, and he'll nod but won't dwell on it. Now, tell him where he's weak, where he's slipping, where he could be better, and watch his eyes sharpen. That's the moment he actually starts listening. Compliments don't mean much to a Sigma. He doesn't crave validation, and he definitely doesn't trust flattery. In fact, when people praise him too much, it raises a red flag. Why? Because in his mind, excessive compliments usually come with strings attached. People compliment to gain favor, to soften him up, or to manipulate his perception. And Sigmas, they don't fall for that. But criticism? That's different. Sigmas don't take it personally. They take it strategically. If the criticism is emotional, vague, or just an attack, they discard it without a second thought. But if it's precise, constructive, and real, they lock onto it. Not because it hurts their ego, but because it's useful. A Sigma is always sharpening himself, always refining his mind, his skills, his presence. If someone points out a flaw he hadn't noticed before, that's not an insult. It's an upgrade opportunity. This is why you'll never see a Sigma reacting emotionally to criticism. He won't argue, won't get defensive, won't spiral into self-doubt. He just absorbs it, processes it, and decides what to do with it. He either fixes the flaw or proves the criticism wrong through action. Either way, he wins. Most people crumble under criticism and chase after praise. Sigmas do the opposite. That's why they grow while others stagnate. That's why they improve while others seek comfort. They don't care about looking good. They care about being good. And that's a mindset very few people truly understand. Number 5. They instinctively match people's energy to stay unnoticed. Sigma males have a rare ability. They can walk into any room, any situation, and blend in without truly belonging. They don't do this by changing who they are, but by mirroring the energy around them just enough to stay under the radar. It's not about impressing people. It's about moving through the world without unnecessary resistance. If they're surrounded by loud, outgoing personalities, they'll casually turn up their energy just enough to match the vibe. Never the center of attention, but never awkwardly out of place either. If they're in a room full of serious intellectuals, they'll adjust their tone, sharpen their vocabulary, and engage in deep conversation like they were born for it. But make no mistake, this isn't about approval. It's tactical. Sigma males understand that standing out too much attracts attention, and attention invites expectations, control, and sometimes even conflict. They have no interest in being the loudest in the room or proving themselves to anyone. Instead, they observe, adapt, and move freely. This ability lets them access places, conversations, and relationships that most people struggle to navigate. They can sit with high-status individuals without feeling out of place, blend in with the underdogs without seeming fake, and leave any social setting without making a scene. And here's the real secret. No one ever realizes they're doing it. Unlike manipulators who change personalities to gain favor, Sigmas never compromise their core identity. They simply adjust the volume, quietly aligning with their surroundings while keeping their true thoughts and motives completely untouched. By the time people try to figure them out, the Sigma is already gone. Left an impression? Maybe. Left a trace? Never. That's what makes them unpredictable, unreadable, and impossible to pin down. Number 6. They don't look busy, but their mind never stops moving. A Sigma male could be sitting in complete silence, staring at the wall, and people would assume he's doing nothing. Wrong. His mind is probably running 100 calculations at once, solving problems, predicting outcomes, analyzing patterns, and strategizing his next move. While others burn energy trying to look productive, Sigmas operate on a whole different level. They don't waste time with unnecessary motion. They don't fill their schedule just to feel important. Instead, they work in bursts of high-efficiency thinking. They can sit still for hours, seemingly doing nothing, and then suddenly execute a solution that took others weeks to figure out. This is why they always seem ahead of the curve. By the time others realize there's a problem, the Sigma already has an answer. People often mistake their calm demeanor for laziness, but what they fail to understand is that thinking is their greatest tool. While others rush to act without a plan, the Sigma ensures that every move he makes is deliberate and precise. He doesn't get lost in meaningless busyness. He focuses on what actually matters. This ability to appear still while processing everything around them is what makes Sigma males so unpredictable. You never know what they're thinking. They could be sitting quietly in a meeting, already spotting the weaknesses in the plan. They could be walking through a crowd, subtly reading people's intentions. They could be lying in bed, mentally designing their next big move while everyone else mindlessly scrolls through their phones. And when the time comes to act, it looks effortless. While others struggle, second-guess, or overcomplicate things, the Sigma executes with precision, because he already did the hard work in his mind. People can underestimate them all they want. The Sigma doesn't need to prove he's working. By the time others realize how far ahead he is, it's already too late. Number 6. They refuse to play the social ping-pong game. Most people are programmed to return whatever social energy they're given. Someone smiles? You smile back. Someone cracks a joke? You chuckle, even if it's not funny. Someone throws a meaningless, "How's it going?" your way. You toss a generic, "Good you," right back, because that's what's expected. Sigma males? They don't play that game. They see these unspoken social rules for what they are. Pointless scripts designed to keep people comfortable. And comfort, to a Sigma, is often a distraction from truth. If a question has no depth, they won't force an answer. If a compliment feels hollow, they won't pretend to appreciate it. If a conversation is heading nowhere, they'll let it die right there in silence. And that silence? It makes people uncomfortable. Most aren't used to it. They expect the automatic responses, the nods of approval, the fake enthusiasm, but a Sigma isn't in the business of making people feel artificially validated. If they agree with something, they'll say so. If they don't, they won't fake it. If a moment doesn't deserve a reaction, they'll let the awkwardness sit. This throws people off. It forces them to actually think about what they just said instead of expecting a knee-jerk response. And that's exactly why Sigmas do it. They don't waste words. They don't perform for social acceptance. They engage only when it's real. So, if you ever find yourself talking to a Sigma and the conversation suddenly stalls, don't take it personally. They're not being rude. They just refuse to play along with the script to come. Number 7. They have a strange relationship with time. To a Sigma male, time isn't fixed, it bends. It speeds up, slows down, and even disappears entirely, depending on how much value the moment holds. Give him something mentally stimulating, a deep conversation, an intense problem to solve, a creative project to dive into, and he can vanish into it for hours. He won't check the clock, he won't get distracted, he won't even notice the sun setting. In these moments, time is almost irrelevant. His brain locks in, his focus sharpens, and the outside world fades away. He enters a state of flow where he's completely immersed, and what feels like minutes can actually be an entire day. But throw him into a forced social situation, a dull meeting, empty small talk, or a shallow gathering, and suddenly time becomes unbearable. 5 minutes stretches into what feels like an hour. The seconds drag painfully, every moment a reminder of how much time is being wasted. While everyone else seems fine passing time with surface-level chatter, the Sigma is counting every second, wondering how soon he can escape. This is why Sigmas have an almost obsessive approach to how they spend their time. They hate wasting it. They're hyper-aware of how certain activities drain them while others fuel them. They'll go all in when something excites their mind, but will shut down completely when something feels pointless. This makes them unpredictable. Sometimes they're laser-focused for hours. Other times they leave mid-conversation without a second thought. To outsiders, this might seem strange or even rude, but to a Sigma, it's simple. Time is their most valuable asset. They refuse to spend it on things that don't matter. And if they ever seem lost in thought, disappearing into their own world, just know they're exactly where they want to be. Number 8. They love the idea of group activities but hate the execution. A Sigma male might get excited about an event, in theory. The idea of a group trip, a party, or even a team project might sound appealing at first, but the moment he steps into that crowded, noisy environment, reality hits. The forced small talk, the unnecessary drama, the chaotic energy, it all starts draining him fast. He didn't come to babysit egos. He didn't come to fake enthusiasm, and he definitely didn't come to waste his time navigating meaningless social politics. At first, he tries to engage. Maybe he starts a few conversations, listens to what people are saying, and genuinely tries to enjoy the moment. But soon, he feels the energy shift. He starts noticing how many people are just talking to hear their own voices, how many interactions are purely surface level, how much effort it takes to simply exist in that space. That's when he instinctively pulls back. You'll find him on the outskirts, watching, observing, studying people's behaviors instead of participating in them. He's not disengaged, he's recalibrating. He's figuring out whether staying is worth his time or if he should make a quiet exit. And 9 times out of 10, he's already planning his escape. The Sigma doesn't leave in a dramatic way, no big announcement, no making a scene. One moment he's there, the next, gone. While everyone else is still caught up in the noise, he's already somewhere peaceful, recharging. It's not that he hates people. It's not that he can't handle socializing. It's just that most group activities drain more than they give. And if there's one thing a Sigma values above all else, it's his energy. He won't waste it on things that don't feel right. So, next time you invite a Sigma to an event and he hesitates, now you know why. Number 9. They are comfortable knowing they might be the only one who sees the truth. Most people need validation to feel secure in what they believe. If the crowd agrees, they feel reassured. If the majority disagrees, they start doubting themselves. Sigma males, they don't have that problem. They trust their own eyes, their own instincts, and their own mind, even if it means standing completely alone. When a Sigma picks up on something off about a person, a situation, or even the world itself, he doesn't second-guess it just because others don't see it. He doesn't need agreement to confirm reality. If he senses manipulation, hidden motives, or lies woven into a situation, that's enough for him. He won't waste his time trying to convince others who are too blind or too comfortable to notice. He simply adjusts, protects himself, and moves accordingly. This is why Sigmas often seem distant or detached. They see things before others do. They notice the subtle shifts in energy, the cracks in the facade, the truths hidden in plain sight. And when they act based on what they see, people might call them paranoid, overly cautious, or even cold. But here's the difference. Time almost always proves the Sigma right. And by the time the truth finally comes to light, the Sigma is already 5 steps ahead, long gone from the situation that everyone else is just now realizing was a trap. Sigmas don't argue, don't beg people to wake up, and don't waste energy trying to change the minds of those who refuse to see. They observe, they decide, and they move on. That's why they survive in places where others fall. That's why they're always prepared for things most people never even saw coming. And that's why, in a world full of illusions, a Sigma always walks alone, but never blind. Number 10. They eavesdrop just to study how people think. Sigma males don't listen the way most people do. They aren't interested in mindless chatter, small talk, or the latest gossip. They aren't sitting there, ears perked up, just to hear who's dating who or who got a new job. No, their listening skills serve a much deeper purpose. Every time a Sigma overhears a conversation, it's like watching a live psychological case study. They aren't focused on what people are saying. They're analyzing how they say it, what they leave out, and what they really mean beneath the surface. A simple exchange between 2 coworkers might reveal who holds the real power in the office. A casual complaint might expose hidden insecurities or manipulative tendencies. Sigma males hear the hesitation in a person's voice, the fake enthusiasm, the subtle shifts in tone that reveal more truth than words ever could. This isn't being nosy, it's being strategic. Sigma males operate in a world where understanding people is the ultimate advantage. While others take words at face value, Sigmas are mapping out power structures, detecting liars, and identifying who's worth trusting. This ability keeps them from being blindsided, manipulated, or caught in unnecessary drama. They also use this skill to adjust their own interactions. If a Sigma notices someone constantly exaggerates their achievements, they know to take their words with a grain of salt. If they see someone shift their personality based on who they're talking to, they know that person lacks authenticity. By the time most people figure someone out, a Sigma already knew, long before a single problem ever arose. And the best part, no one even realizes they're being studied. Sigmas don't need to ask direct questions or force conversations. They just listen, and in doing so, they see people for exactly who they are. Number 11. They collect information but rarely share their own. Sigma males are silent information vaults. They listen, observe, and absorb everything happening around them, but when it comes to revealing their own thoughts, feelings, or personal details, good luck getting anything out of them. This isn't accidental. It's a calculated habit. A Sigma male's mind is like a highly classified database, full of insights, observations, and deep knowledge about people, patterns, and hidden motives. He naturally picks up on body language, micro-expressions, and subtle inconsistencies in what people say versus what they actually mean. He doesn't just hear words, he deciphers intent. And yet, when you reflect on a conversation with him, you might realize something strange. You shared a lot. But what did he share? The answer? Almost nothing. Sigma males have mastered the art of getting people to talk without ever giving up their own position. They ask the right questions, maintain the perfect balance of engagement and mystery, and let others fill the silence. People assume a conversation is an equal exchange, but with a Sigma it rarely is. You talk, he listens, you reveal, he studies. It's not manipulation, it's protection. Sigmas know that information is power and misplaced trust is a weakness. They don't open up unless there's a good reason. Their private world is sacred and not just anyone gets access. If a Sigma male does share something personal, consider it rare access to classified information. It means he sees value in you. But if you realize you've spent hours talking to one and still don't know what drives him, what he fears, or what he truly wants, you haven't just had a conversation. You've been studied. Conclusion. The power of being different. At first glance, these habits might seem odd, even contradictory. But if you're a Sigma male, you know they aren't just quirks, they're survival tactics. They're the way you navigate a world that often feels loud, inefficient, and full of meaningless expectations. You don't engage in fake social games. You don't waste time on things that drain you. You don't seek approval, but you do seek truth. And that makes you different. But here's the thing. Being different isn't a weakness, it's your greatest strength. Society rewards those who fit in, who follow the script, who play along. But the ones who truly shape the world, They don't play along. They rewrite the rules. And that's exactly what you do, whether you realize it or not. Your ability to observe, to think independently, to step outside the noise and see things for what they really are, that's rare. It's why people may not always understand you, but it's also why they can't ignore you. So if you've ever felt out of place, if you've ever wondered why you just can't seem to think or operate like everyone else, let this be your reminder. You're not broken. You're built differently. And in a world full of distractions, blind conformity, and empty validation, that makes you unstoppable. Keep moving in silence. Keep thinking for yourself. Keep mastering your own path. Because the world doesn't need more people who blend in. It needs more people like you. Thank you, brothers, for watching, and remain blessed.